When I met Sean at the tender age of 23, he said to me, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. You know, it's a conversation, you kind of laugh it off. But I'm telling you, he made that goal. And when he decided that it was time for us to work together, to capitalize on our strengths independently and together, we were going to get there faster. And I'm proud to say, I was 32 and he was 30 and we were millionaires.
Very difficult to work together as a married couple. There's no getting around it. And I'd be lying to you if I said, oh, it's the greatest thing ever, there's no problems. It's just not true.
And we always tell people, we don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's not something that, it's not something most people could ever do. But once you learn how to manage it and work through it, it's really rewarding. We really have different strengths, and to identify those strengths is really a key component in our dynamic and our success story, I think.
Defining roles is real important. Staying in your lane once that role has been established is really important. But a big aha moment for me was learning trust, and to trust my partner's skills, to trust his values, and to trust that we both we're heading in the same direction.
Early on, I had taken everything very, very personal and on my shoulders as if I was the only one fighting the fight. And it took me a couple years, several years actually, to come to the realization that my partner, my wife, was just as smart as I was. She was fighting the same fight as I was. She just might be doing it a little differently. And then once I came to terms with that, I learned to trust her. Intuition was a big thing, and then making sure that we respected each other's boundaries. So first it was maturity, then it was respecting each other's boundaries, and then we became really strong business partners.
We get asked quite often, how do you separate? How do you turn it off at 5 o'clock?
You can't.
The real answer is you don't. Not only you can't, but you don't. Because when you learn to function with your partner in the business atmosphere, that same process happens in the personal relationship. And really, I think it's enriched our marriage completely. So something that I would like to bring up about working with partners is knowing your pitch. You might be talking with investors. You might be talking with landlords.
Imagine a 70-year-old billionaire having to take their time to meet with a couple of tattoo parlor owners. We find ourselves in a position of underestimation a lot. We've found that it's actually a useful tool. Before we ever walk into the room, before we ever start a conversation with somebody, we know what our lane is, we know what our strength is, and more importantly, we know what the other person's strength is so that we can trust them to do what's right in the given situation. Understanding the energy that's being put towards you is really important. We are generally really good at noticing it right away and then turning it around, and we're like, okay, now we're going to articulate our position to where they can't help but like what we have to say, because we'll bring the facts, we'll bring the numbers, and we'll bring a certain energy to the meeting that was obviously lacking up to that point.
How we became business game changers is that we looked at our industry and we said, gosh, you know, we don't like how this is generally done. We don't really want to be associated with that particular behavior. And we looked outside our industry and we said, okay, well, they're doing it over there. Why can't this high-end company that I know of, that I'm a consumer of, why can't that apply to my industry?
Take your business to the next level. Be the disruptor. Clear the path. But you need to keep thinking like that, because in several years, that's going to be the standard.
Once you start elevating your industry and showing people a new way, it doesn't take very long for the competition to catch on to what you're doing. So it's always lonely at the top. That's an old cliche. It's only lonely if you're looking back. Keep your eyes set forward, up high, and keep climbing, and they will follow.